Hey everyone, what's going on? Adam over here in Atlanta, and I've been getting a few questions about closing and how to handle the the appointments that you get, right? And really just um, how to handle some of those questions and moving forward, closing them, right? And getting them started. So I think I don't really know how to put it into words, but I'm going to try to as easy as possible. Um, so I actually went to the conference in Atlanta that just passed today. Actually, just ended, and one of the guys there, he goes by Big Al, right? And I have his book somewhere. I bought it today. And he goes, every single person that you talk to is pre-sold, right? Whether you talk to them or not, whether they've seen your product or not, they're already pre-sold. And the key word there that he used was before you talk to them. And they just have a natural response to push people away. They want to make their decision on their own, right? You need to talk to them in the way that they buy, right? And it's not, Serbia has all these great products, right? And I don't even know where the one that I had. I know it's in here somewhere. Anyways, it was this cool little flip book that I had bought in the store, and it was this whole like flip thing, and I read it, flip thing, and then I read it, flip thing, and I read it, right? Just whole 45, it wasn't even 45, it was like maybe 25-minute presentation, right? But people don't buy like that. Um, Maybe some do, but um, the majority of people don't buy like that. I don't buy like that. For example, if I'm going to go buy a TV in Best Buy, I don't sit there and say, "Hey, where's the presentation on this Sony?" I want to know how many awards they won. I want to know how awesome the technology is. I want to know all of this. I want to know all that. I don't do that. I go in there. I see the picture. I like it. I want to know how my PlayStation's going to look on it. I ask how many HDMI ports. That's about it. And what's the price? And if I like it, I'll buy it. If not, I'll go to another store. That's how I make a decision, right? That's how most people buy. When you're walking down the aisle at your store, you don't see like cornflakes over there, and it has like a presentation before you reach for the cornflakes. It says, "Stop! Don't buy the cornflakes yet. Let me go take you through a 25-minute presentation on how we're non-GMO and how our cornflakes are cage free." you know I don't know, but you don't buy like that. You see them, you're like, do I want cornflakes? Maybe. Cool, awesome, I'll do it, whatever, right? I need cereal. That's how most people make a decision. They already pre-sold whenever they go in there. He also brought up a thing, or an example of how his grandson had told him about the Beauty and the Beast movie, and he went to go take his date out, and and when they arrived at the movie theater, they bought the tickets, and they went and bought some candy and some popcorn at value prices, right? Which we all know are like triple. And they went into the movie, and 30 minutes before the movie started playing, they started playing previews and advertising. And they had paid for the movie already to sit there through this advertising, right? Um, but they made the decision to see the movie already, right? But when did they make the decision to see the movie? They made the decision to see the movie as soon as he hit the doorbell. As soon as his grandson said, "Hey, you should go see Beauty and the Beast," and he called her up and said, "Hey, let's go see Beauty and the Beast," he made a decision to see the movie, regardless of what it is, right? I'm a firm believer that you can never say the wrong thing to the right person, right? Um, but if any of you have noticed, for those that I've talked to on the phone, um, dude, I'm me. Like, this is how I talk to people, right? I'm very upfront. I'm very transparent with people. And I tell them how it is. So I'm just going to go into kind of like a little bit of a role play, and then I'll digress on, what the reason why I said some things, and then, the reasoning on, how I'm pivoting in this direction and what I'm trying to get that person to think as I'm talking to them, right? So, for example, um, I'll go through my intro, right? So they set the appointment. You click on the phone number on your phone, or you dial it, whichever one. It rings. Brrr. Hello, this is Ryan. Hey, Ryan, what's going on? This is Adam from Go Marketing. How you doing? Oh, I'm doing good, good, good. How you doing? I'm doing great. Yeah, I know we had a call at 2:30 today. Is this still a good time? Yeah, this is awesome. Perfect. Well, what I wanted to do is go over any questions that you may have had on the ad, and anything that wasn't answered, and moving forward, if this is something that you want to do, get you the information to get started. Does that sound fair enough? Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Cool. Awesome. So what questions do you have? And so that normally gets them starting, right? So the reason why I say it exactly like that every single time is for a couple of reasons. One, I want to make sure that it's a great time for them to talk, right? When they answer, hey, is this still a good time to talk? Because one, it may not be a good time to talk. May have been good at that point, but you obviously want to be courteous to their time as well. Especially if they're just trying to rush you. It's not going to be good. It's not going to be a good conversation. I haven't had many say no, but I had like maybe two or three. But when they say yes, that's one yes that you get out of them, right? And then my second yes that I try to get out of them is when I say, if this is something that you feel like this is something that you want to do, I'll send you the information to move forward. Does that sound fair enough? And most of the time they'll say yes, because that's the reason why they set the appointment in the first place, right? So that's the second yes that I get. And it gets them already agreeing to me sending them information to get started already, right? And so I'll go over that again. Um, hey, this is Adam from Go Marketing. How are you doing? Doing great. Awesome. Is this still a good time? Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So I just wanted to go over any questions that you may have had. And moving forward, if it's something that you want to do, send you the information to get started. Does that sound fair enough? Yeah, absolutely. Great. So what questions do you have? Well, the first question that I have is it legal? And that's another thing that I would do as well. Um, when I spoke to a few of you that are watching this right now, you had a few questions, but I've been asked those questions so many times. I'm sure you have by now too, that you have a pretty good answer on what they are, right? So you got to get good at answering those questions, and you want them to ask you questions, right? You want them to talk. So, um, what? And I guess it's kind of hard to really script it out, because it could go, there's no question that goes in order. But let's say they ask all their questions, and it sounds good, and I'm like, cool. So, I mean, what do you think about the product, right? I have that. Or what do you think about this? Oh, dude, I think this is awesome. I guess the only question I have left is, how's the pay work? And, you go over the pay structure or whatever. Um, and I'll go over how I go over the pay structure. I say, well, there's two ways you can do this. You could either become an affiliate, and you could just sell it all yourself, which that's cool, however you want to do it. You get paid 25% up front and 10% monthly. If you want to build a team and do this, you get paid a lot more. You get paid a percentage up front, and you also get paid monthly off of their sales as well, along with um, a base salary. So, I mean, which one of those sounds, more intriguing, I guess? It doesn't matter which one it is to me, honestly. Everyone's different. So let's just say they want to build a team, right? Which is something that we all want to do here. So I'll go up to them and I'll be like, okay, cool. You want to build a team? That's awesome. Well, let me give you a little bit of a background on me, right? They've done all their talking. I haven't talked about me at all at this point. I'll say, I've been with Acervia for the second month since they started. And at first it was slow. There's a lot of bumps in the road. Um, it was a startup company, but I knew that going into it. And the reason why I'm saying this, like I'm saying it, by the way, just listen to how and why I'm saying it. I knew there were a lot of bumps in the road because it was a startup, but I agreed to get on into that, right? So I'm taking accountability for that, which they're subconsciously saying, okay, I can take accountability for that too. I knew there were a lot of bumps in the road, but I just kind of pushed through it. And now that we have all those issues taken care of, that the shipping, all the other stuff, whatever it is, it just kind of blew up and took on a life of its own. And our team, we brought on 50 people in the last 2 weeks. So it's really crazy in what we do. We have a system in place that works. It's very duplicatable. It's very simple. We could literally have your phone ringing by tomorrow and get you, rolling with this. It's all a matter of how hard you want to work and, how much effort that you want to put into it. Because look, I work with a specific group of people that have made the decision to move forward on this. And I say a specific group of people because that's all I can really take at this point. I'm averaging 8 to 14 appointments a day. In fact, today I have 12, which, by the way, I have a hard stop in the next 10 minutes. But, it's just something that really took on a life of its own. And we're really moving forward with this. And, dude, this thing is it's absolutely exploding. So if this is something that you really want to do, and the reason why I say if this is something that you really want to do is because I'm going to hold you accountable in that team if that's something that you want to do. And I'll tell you, I'm not asking you to make a decision, or I would never ask you to make a decision right now. In fact, like I mentioned earlier in the conversation, I'd love to send you some info so that way you could do your due diligence not only on me, but also some more due diligence on the company. And if this is still something that you want to do, we'll talk tomorrow. Does that sound fair enough? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, great. So what's a good email for me to send this to? And then she'll give me their email. And when they give me their email, I, send out that email that I sent everyone, right? I sent out everyone in the, what is it? It's a, and I'll actually put it in the Facebook group again. But after I send that, I make sure that they get it. I don't just hang up the phone and then send it. I make sure they get it while they're on the phone. And if they don't get it while they're on the phone, maybe that's, the issue is because they're on the phone. I say, okay, great. No worries. When do you want to have that conversation tomorrow? Well, what do you mean? I was like, well, you're going to take a look at this. Does 24 hours sound like a good enough time span to go through 2 videos? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, great. What time tomorrow? Sounds good. I don't know. Well, does morning or afternoon work? Afternoon. Perfect. 12:30 or 1:30? 1:30. Okay, great. I'm putting you down now. 1:30, and I'm sending you a calendar invite. And so I send them the calendar invite, and they accept it while I'm on the phone with them. And so 24 hours goes by, they call, or I call them, right? Whichever one. Even better if they call you back, right? And then you got a hot one. And if you notice in the conversation, I never talked about price. I never talked about how much money I've made. I never talked about what rank I am. I never talked about any of that. I only talked about the system that we have, the team that we work with, and how hard we work, and the type of person that we're looking for. And if that's something that they are, and if it is something that they are, I'm going to need them to do a little bit of due diligence and really do some research on it to see if it's something that they do want to do. Because if it is, we're going to hold them accountable, right? And that's how I get them bought in, because subconsciously they're like, oh, I want to be a part of that team. Whatever it is, right? And they ask me, how many people I have on my team, and it doesn't matter, right? I mean, I'll tell them, I'm like, okay, I have about 500 people on my team. You could have 500 people on your team. Hell, I can have 10,000 people on my team. It doesn't matter. Fact of the matter is, I work with a very small, specific group of people, and we're all working toward the same goal, the same purpose, same system, and we duplicate it over and over again. And if that sounds something that you can do and that you would, commit to, we'll have your phone ringing tomorrow. And so they'll call back, or you'll call them back, right? And let's say you call them back, right? Let's say they don't call you back. If they call you back, it's sold, right? So they call you back and they're like, okay, great. So this is Adam again. I'm just following up. What'd you think? And there's going to be two scenarios you're going to be faced with. One of them is going to be like, oh my God, I want to do this. I really think this is cool. I'm probably going to start off with the 3 beacon package, and start off with that one. And the 29.97, is that one time, or is that monthly? That's monthly. Okay, cool, no worries. Um, and yeah, I mean, I guess that's it. Okay, great. And sometimes they're going to keep rambling, and it's not going to really make sense, and you're not going to really know where they're going with it. So you have to take control of that conversation. And so let's say, yeah, I'll probably go with that. And like, great. So the next step is just to get you started, right? Yeah, next step is to get me started. Okay, great. So do you have that email? No, I lost it. No worries. Type in this URL, asirvia.com, and spell it out, ASIRVIA.com. Hit enter, and then tell them to go create a new account. And there's a reason why I'm doing it that way, because I know a lot of you are like, oh, what about my username, right? As soon as you hit asirvia.com and you create a new account, it's going to ask them who referred them. And they're going to be like, oh, it asked me for a username. What do I put? That's when you tell them to specifically type in your username, right? Or if they have that email, tell them to click on the email and it'll send them directly to that, right? And you walk them through it. And then make sure when they get to the beacons, make sure they put 0. Make sure they put 0 on that thing. Otherwise, you're not getting paid on it. And you just walk them through. And then you say, okay, great. So now that I did that, now what? Now what are you going to do? Well, first, I'm going to add you on Facebook. And if you're not on Facebook, I would create one. And if you don't want to create one with your own name, create one with your fake name. Just create one so that way you can communicate with us, because this is how we do this. And you told me that you committed to this. This is something that you can do and you want to do. I'm going to need you to do this. Otherwise, we can't work, right? So they'll create it. And you add them to Team Go Big or Go Home. You add them to Asirvia Go Team Young Hustlers, and you add them to Asirvia Success Club. Once you do that, you just start getting them plugged in. You say, okay, great. So you want to get started now. That's always, you want to get them the decision. You always want to get them started now. There's no tomorrow. There's no I'm tired. There's no, I'm just so tired. Okay, no worries. It takes 5 minutes. Let's just do it. Because trust me when I say that people will just procrastinate. Get it done now. Get it done now. All right? Set up their Calendly account. Set up their new Gmail account if they need a new Gmail account. Set up their Craigslist account. Set up all of that, right? And just get them started, and get them started the right way. And then what you're going to do is you're going to start a Facebook chat, right? And you're going to add them into that Facebook chat so that way they can communicate with you back and forth, right? That's exactly how I close them. Now, there's going to be a second scenario of people that I'm trying to think of what it was. Of they're going to call you, but it's pretty much the same thing. Honestly, I don't think that was it. I'll probably remember it after I record the video, but oh well. So that is how I close my people. And I don't even think it's been recording that long, to be honest with you. I can't really tell. It doesn't have a timer, but the calls shouldn't take any longer than 15, 20 minutes tops, right? You're not dragging anyone. If someone says, I'm not in, as soon as they say, I'm not in, boom, you just hang up the phone. We don't need to convince people. Trust me when I say this. There's so many people in there. I don't convince people. When people say, "Oh, this is going to be spam," boom, I hang up on them. No buy, just boom, hang up on them. Go to the next one. You have revenue generating activities in that daily activity sheet that you could be doing versus trying to convince someone that already convinced themselves that they don't want to do it, right? Those aren't the people that I want to work with. People I want to work with are the people that, no, I wouldn't say jump in, right? Like, those are cool people to work with too, right? Because they're amped up, they're ready to go. But just the people who are engaged, the people who have a genuine interest in learning, right? And I think a lot of it comes from just how you carry yourself, right? And how I learned it was I had someone tell me to buy a mirror and put it in front of me. Now we have webcams, right? So now it's kind of, just look at yourself in the webcam, just do a selfie without taking a selfie. So when you're talking to people, be aware of that, because that comes off to people as well. Even now, I kind of noticed it. That's why I'm kind of sitting up straight now, right? So that's kind of how I do it. And hopefully this video helped. And if you need anything else, just feel free to reach out. That's it. All right, guys.